In a dimly lit office, hunched over a worn wooden desk, sits 23-year-old Elizabeth Washington. Her cleaning cart is parked nearby, mops still damp from the floors she's just finished sanitizing. But Elizabeth isn't taking a break. She's studying advanced organic chemistry, to be exact. The only light illuminating her textbooks comes from a flickering emergency bulb. The main office lights were shut off hours ago to save electricity. Elizabeth has been pulling these double shifts for 8 months now. She cleans offices from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m., then rushes home for a quick shower before her morning classes at the community college. She's exhausted, her back aches from bending over desks and emptying trash bins, but she's never been more determined. Every page she reads, every formula she memorizes, brings her one step closer to her dream of becoming a doctor. What Elizabeth doesn't know is that 40 floors above her, someone is watching. Richard Blackstone, the 62-year-old billionaire owner of the building, is working late in his penthouse office when he notices something unusual on the security monitor. There's movement on the 15th floor, long after the cleaning crew should have finished and left. Curious and slightly annoyed, Richard decides to investigate personally. He takes the elevator down, his Italian leather shoes clicking against the marble floors as he approaches the office where the light flickers. When he pushes open the door and sees Elizabeth surrounded by medical textbooks, studying with an intensity that takes his breath away, he freezes. This isn't what he expected to find at all. And what happens in the next 30 minutes will change both their lives forever. What exactly do you think you're doing? Richard's voice cuts through the silence like a blade. Elizabeth's head snaps up, her heart hammering against her ribs. She's been caught. The wealthy man standing in the doorway is unmistakably Richard Blackstone. She's seen his photo in the business magazines left behind in executive offices. His silver hair is perfectly styled even at this ungodly hour. His charcoal suit probably costs more than she makes in 6 months. I can explain, Mr. Blackstone, Elizabeth stammers, quickly trying to close her textbooks. Her hands are shaking. This job isn't just income for her, it's her lifeline. Without it, she can't afford tuition, can't pay rent, can't eat. I'm listening. His tone is ice cold, arms crossed, waiting. Elizabeth takes a deep breath. She has 2 choices: lie and hope he doesn't dig deeper, or tell the truth and hope for mercy. She chooses honesty. I was studying, sir. I know I should have left when my shift ended, but this is the only quiet time I have. During the day, I'm in classes or at my second job at the diner. At night, I'm here cleaning. These 15 minutes after my shift, it's the only time I can focus without distractions. Richard's expression doesn't soften. If anything, he looks more annoyed. You're trespassing. Using company electricity. I could have you fired and reported to building security. Do you understand that? Yes, sir. I understand. Elizabeth's voice is barely a whisper. She's already mentally calculating how many job applications she'll need to fill out tomorrow, and how she'll explain the gap in her work history. But then Richard does something unexpected. He steps closer to the desk and picks up one of her textbooks. Organic Chemistry, Principles and Mechanisms, he reads aloud. His eyebrows raise slightly. This isn't exactly light reading. No, sir. He flips through the pages, noting the detailed notes in the margins, the highlighted passages, the practice problems worked out in Elizabeth's careful handwriting. You're pre-med? Yes, sir. Well, I'm trying to be. I'm taking prerequisites at the community college while I save money for university. Richard sets the book down and studies Elizabeth more carefully. She's young, probably early 20s, with intelligent eyes that hold a fire he recognizes. Her cleaning uniform is spotless despite the physical nature of her work. Her posture, even in this moment of vulnerability, shows dignity and strength. How long have you been doing this? Cleaning here, I mean. 8 months, sir. Mrs. Rodriguez, the night supervisor, hired me when I moved to the city. And you're studying to be a doctor. It's not a question, it's a statement tinged with something between disbelief and intrigue. Yes, sir. I know it probably seems impossible to you. A girl from rural Georgia, working as a cleaner, dreaming of medical school. But I've wanted to be a doctor since I was 12 years old. My grandmother died because the nearest hospital was 2 hours away and we couldn't afford the ambulance. I promised myself I'd become the doctor my community needed. For the first time since entering the room, Richard's stern expression wavers. He sees something in Elizabeth's eyes, a determination so fierce it reminds him of someone he used to know. Himself, 35 years ago, when he was sleeping in his car and working 3 jobs to keep his first business afloat. These textbooks are expensive, he observes. How are you affording them? I buy them used online, sometimes find them at library sales. The organic chemistry book cost me $30. I ate ramen for a week to afford it, but it was worth it. I make photocopies of the pages I need most and return the books when I can to buy the next semester's materials. Richard walks around the desk, examining the setup Elizabeth has created. She's organized everything meticulously, textbooks stacked by subject, notebooks color-coded, even a small calculator that looks like it's from the 1990s. What's your grade point average? He asks. 3.97, sir. 3.97. He pauses. And you're doing this while working for how many hours? 60 hours a week cleaning, 20 hours at the diner on weekends. But the diner lets me study during slow periods, so it's not as bad as it sounds. Richard is quiet for a long moment. When he was Elizabeth's age, he was grinding just as hard, dreaming just as big. But he had advantages she didn't. He was a white male in the 1980s business world. Doors opened for him that remained firmly shut for someone like Elizabeth. You know I should fire you, he says finally. Elizabeth nods, tears threatening to spill over. I know, sir. I'm sorry. It won't happen again. But I'm not going to. Elizabeth's head snaps up, hope flickering in her eyes. I'm going to do something else instead. Meet me in my office tomorrow at 6 p.m. 40th floor. Don't be late. Sir, what should I expect? Richard is already walking toward the door. He pauses at the threshold. Bring your transcripts. And Elizabeth. Yes, sir. Keep studying. If you're as amazed by Elizabeth's determination as I am, hit that subscribe button right now. Stories like this remind us that dreams have no expiration date, no matter what your circumstances look like today. Would you have had the courage to tell the truth like Elizabeth did, risking everything for honesty? Or would you have tried to make up an excuse? Let me know in the comments below. The next evening, Elizabeth stands in the marble lobby of the Meridian Building's executive floor, clutching a manila folder containing her transcripts. She's changed out of her cleaning uniform into her only professional outfit, a navy blue dress she bought at a thrift store for job interviews, paired with scuffed black flats that she's polished to a shine. The elevator ride to the 40th floor feels endless. Elizabeth's mind races with possibilities. Is Richard Blackstone going to lecture her about work ethic? Report her to the building management? She's prepared for the worst. The elevator doors open to reveal a hallway that screams wealth and power. Original artwork hangs on the walls, the carpet is so thick her footsteps are silent, and floor-to-ceiling windows offer a breathtaking view of the city skyline. Richard's secretary, an elegant woman in her 50s, greets Elizabeth with a professional smile. Ms. Washington? Mr. Blackstone is ready for you. Elizabeth enters an office that's larger than her entire apartment. Richard sits behind a mahogany desk that could probably fund her tuition for a semester. But what catches her attention are the items spread across his desk, her transcripts, which she hasn't given him yet, several college brochures, and what appears to be a thick financial document. Sit down, Elizabeth. Richard's tone is different today, still authoritative, but warmer somehow. Elizabeth perches on the edge of the leather chair across from his desk, back straight, hands folded in her lap. I did some research after our conversation last night. Richard begins. I made some calls to your professors at the community college. Elizabeth's heart sinks. Sir, if they said anything negative? Richard holds up a hand. They said you're the most dedicated student they've ever had. Professor Martinez told me you once came to his chemistry lab at 6 a.m. because it was the only time you could access the equipment you needed for an experiment. Dr. Kim said you've never missed a class in 2 years, despite working nights. Elizabeth blinks in surprise. She hadn't expected this. I also called Mrs. Rodriguez, your night supervisor. She told me you've never been late, never called in sick, and that the offices you clean are spotless. She said other employees could learn from your work ethic. Thank you, sir. I believe in doing my best at everything. Richard leans back in his chair, studying Elizabeth with the intensity of someone making a major business decision. Tell me about your family, Elizabeth. There's not much to tell, sir. My mother raised me and my 2 younger brothers after my father left when I was 10. She worked double shifts at a textile factory to keep us fed and housed. When I graduated high school, I knew college wasn't financially possible, so I moved here hoping to save money for school while taking community college classes. Your brothers? Nick is in high school, an honor roll student. He wants to be an engineer. Tyler is in middle school, loves to read. My mother sends me photos of their report cards every semester. Elizabeth's voice softens with pride. They're going to do great things. Richard pulls out a file folder Elizabeth hadn't noticed before. I had my team run a background check on you. I hope you don't mind, it's standard procedure for what I'm about to propose. Elizabeth's stomach tightens. What did you find? Spotless record. No criminal history. Excellent credit considering your income level. References from every job you've ever had describe you as reliable, hardworking, and honest. Your high school guidance counselor still remembers you as one of the brightest students they ever taught. Richard stands up and walks to the window, looking out at the city lights beginning to twinkle in the evening dusk. Elizabeth, 35 years ago, I was in a situation not entirely unlike yours. I had a big dream, to build a financial services company that would revolutionize how regular people invested their money. I was sleeping in my car, working 3 jobs, eating peanut butter sandwiches for every meal. The difference between you and me is that when I was struggling, several people saw my potential and invested in me. Without them, I'd probably still be selling insurance door to door. He turns back to face her. Those people changed my life. But more importantly, they taught me that the greatest investment you can make isn't in stocks or real estate, it's in human potential. Elizabeth feels her pulse quickening. Where is this conversation going? I want to invest in you, Elizabeth. Sir, I don't understand. Richard returns to his desk and picks up the financial document. This is a full scholarship to Columbia University's pre-medical program. Tuition, books, room and board, everything covered for 4 years. After that, if you maintain your grades, full funding for medical school. Elizabeth's world stops spinning. She stares at Richard, unable to process what she's hearing. Additionally, I'm offering you an internship at Blackstone Financial, 20 hours a week, flexible schedule around your classes, $40 an hour. It's mostly research and administrative work, but you'll gain valuable experience and make connections in the professional world. Mr. Blackstone, I can't, this is too much. Why would you do this for me? Richard sits down and looks directly into Elizabeth's eyes. Because Elizabeth, talent like yours shouldn't be wasted mopping floors. Don't get me wrong, there's honor in hard work, and you've proven that beyond doubt. But you have the potential to save lives, to make discoveries that could change medicine, to inspire the next generation of doctors. The world needs more people like you in positions where they can make a real difference. Elizabeth's eyes fill with tears. I don't know what to say. Say you'll take it. But understand, this comes with expectations. I'm not giving you charity. This is an investment, and I expect returns. I expect you to graduate summa cum laude. I expect you to excel in medical school. And someday, when you're a successful doctor, I expect you to find someone else like you, someone with potential who just needs a chance, and pay it forward. Yes, Elizabeth whispers. Yes, absolutely yes. Richard smiles, the first genuine smile Elizabeth has seen from him. There's one more thing. I called your mother today. Elizabeth's eyes widened. You talked to my mother? I told her that her daughter is going to be a doctor, and that she should be incredibly proud. She cried. Then she told me she's been praying for a miracle to help you achieve your dreams. She said I'm the answer to her prayers. Elizabeth can no longer hold back her tears. They stream down her face as the magnitude of this moment hits her. Everything she's worked for, dreamed of, sacrificed for. It's all within reach now. Elizabeth, you remind me that the American dream isn't dead. It just sometimes needs people who believe in it to help make it happen. You've already proven you have the determination and intelligence to succeed. Now you'll have the resources to match your ambition. If this story is touching your heart the way it's touching mine, please subscribe to the channel and ring that notification bell. Stories of hope and second chances need to be shared with the world. Do you think Richard was right to help Elizabeth this way, or should people have to achieve their dreams entirely on their own? What would you have done in his position? Share your thoughts below. 4 years later, Columbia University's graduation ceremony is in full swing. Thousands of graduates in caps and gowns sit in neat rows across the university's main lawn, families and friends packed into the bleachers under a perfect May sky. Elizabeth Washington sits in the front row of the pre-medical graduates, magna cum laude cords draped around her shoulders, a smile that could light up Manhattan spread across her face. In the VIP section, Richard Blackstone adjusts his tie and checks his watch. At 66, he's slowed down a bit, semi-retired from day-to-day operations of his company, spending more time on philanthropy. But he wouldn't miss this day for anything in the world. As Elizabeth's name is called, she walks across the stage with the confidence of someone who has earned every step. The dean shakes her hand, hands her the diploma, and she pauses for just a moment to look out at the crowd. She finds Richard immediately, nods at him with a smile that says, "Thank you," in a way words never could. But Elizabeth's story doesn't end at graduation. Fast forward 8 more years. Dr. Elizabeth Washington has just completed her residency at Johns Hopkins Hospital, specializing in emergency medicine, the field she chose because she never forgot her grandmother who died waiting for medical care that came too late. She's been offered positions at prestigious hospitals across the country, but Elizabeth has made a different choice. She's returning to rural Georgia, to a county not far from where she grew up, to work at a small hospital that serves farming communities across 3 counties. It's not glamorous work, and it certainly doesn't pay what she could earn in New York or Los Angeles, but it's exactly where Elizabeth knows she needs to be. The hospital is hosting a dedication ceremony for their new emergency wing, funded entirely by an anonymous donor. Elizabeth knows exactly who that donor is, but Richard insisted on keeping it quiet. It's not about recognition, he told her. It's about impact. Richard has flown down from New York for the ceremony, and as he watches Elizabeth cut the ribbon on the new emergency department, he thinks about the journey that brought them both to this moment. The young woman who was studying by emergency lighting 8 years ago is now literally bringing light to a community that desperately needs it. After the ceremony, Elizabeth approaches Richard with something in her hands, a framed photograph. "I wanted to show you this," she says, handing him the frame. It's a picture of 3 young people in medical school graduation gowns. Elizabeth and 2 other young black students, a man and a woman. "Meet Nick and Keisha," Elizabeth says. "Nick is my brother, the one who wanted to be an engineer. It turned out he was more interested in biomedical engineering. He just graduated from MIT and he's starting his residency in pediatric cardiology next month. Keisha is a girl I mentored at Columbia. She grew up in foster care, put herself through college working 3 jobs. She just matched into neurosurgery at Mass General." Richard examines the photo, pride evident in his expression. 3 doctors. 3 doctors who might never have made it without someone believing in them. "Nick got a scholarship through the foundation you helped me establish during my junior year. Keisha was our 2nd recipient." Elizabeth pulls out her phone and shows Richard a video message. "And this is from the medical students currently in our program." The video shows 12 young people of diverse backgrounds, all holding signs that read, "Thank you, Dr. Washington," and "Thank you, Mr. Blackstone." They're in medical school libraries, hospitals, research labs, pursuing dreams that seemed impossible not so long ago. "Elizabeth, this is incredible. But you did this. You built the foundation, you mentored these students, you created this ripple effect. I started it, but you made it possible. Every single one of these students has a story like mine, brilliant minds trapped by circumstances beyond their control. The Elizabeth Washington Foundation has awarded 43 full scholarships to pre-med students so far, with a 100% medical school acceptance rate. Richard is quiet for a moment, processing the magnitude of what Elizabeth has accomplished. 43 students. 43 future doctors. Future researchers. Future leaders. Some will stay in small towns like this one, bringing medical care to underserved communities. Others will work in research, maybe finding cures for diseases that have plagued humanity for centuries. A few might even become professors, inspiring the next generation. And it all started with you studying by emergency lighting. Elizabeth laughs. Technically, it started with you caring enough to investigate instead of just calling security. They stand together watching the sun set behind the new hospital wing, both thinking about the circuitous path that brought them to this moment. Elizabeth, I need to tell you something, Richard says. Investing in you was the single best business decision I ever made. Not because of financial returns, though the foundation has grown beyond my wildest expectations, but because of human returns. You've shown me what real wealth looks like. Mr. Blackstone. Richard. After 8 years, I think we're past formalities. Elizabeth smiles. Richard. Thank you. For seeing potential where others saw obstacles. For believing in dreams that seemed impossible. For teaching me that success isn't just about achieving your own goals, it's about lifting others up as you climb. As they walk back toward the hospital, Elizabeth stops suddenly. I almost forgot. I have something else to show you. She leads Richard to a wall near the hospital's main entrance. Mounted on the wall is a bronze plaque that reads, "This emergency department is dedicated to the memory of Mrs. Eleanor Washington, who died waiting for medical care, and to all the future patients who will receive the care they need because someone believed in dreams and made them possible." Below the dedication, in smaller text, funded by the R. Blackstone Community Health Initiative. Richard stares at the plaque, emotion overwhelming him. Elizabeth, you didn't have to. Yes, I did. My grandmother's death was the beginning of my story. Your kindness was the turning point. This hospital is the culmination. But it's not the end, it's another beginning. As if on cue, Elizabeth's phone buzzes with a text message. She reads it and grins. What is it? A medical student from our foundation program. She just got accepted to Johns Hopkins for her residency in emergency medicine. She wants to come work here after she finishes. Richard shakes his head in amazement. The circle keeps growing. That's the point, Richard. One act of kindness, multiplied by time and intentionality, can literally change the world. As they drive away from the hospital, Elizabeth points out other changes in the community. A new community center where local kids can get tutoring and mentoring, a clinic that provides free healthcare to uninsured families, an education fund that sends promising students to college. All of it connected, directly or indirectly, to the moment Richard chose compassion over bureaucracy 8 years ago. Elizabeth, can I ask you something? Of course. Do you ever wonder what would have happened if I had just fired you that night? Elizabeth considers the question seriously. I think I would have found another way. Maybe it would have taken longer, maybe the path would have been harder, but I believe I would have made it eventually. The difference is that with your help, I was able to bring so many others along with me. That's the real magic of what you did. You didn't just change one life, you created a catalyst for changing hundreds of lives. 8 years after a chance encounter in a dimly lit office, 2 people who started as strangers have become family. Richard has gained something his wealth could never buy. A legacy of human impact that will outlive him by generations. Elizabeth has achieved her dreams while creating pathways for others to achieve theirs. And somewhere in rural Georgia, in small towns across America, in medical schools and hospitals around the world, 43 young doctors are saving lives, advancing science, and inspiring others, all because one night, one man chose to see potential instead of problems, chose compassion over control, chose to believe that talent, when nurtured, can change the world. The story that started with emergency lighting has become a beacon of hope, proving that the greatest transformations begin with the smallest acts of kindness. This story proves that we all have the power to change lives. If you believe in second chances, in the power of education, and in paying it forward, please subscribe to this channel and share this video with someone who needs to hear it today. Your engagement helps stories like Elizabeth's reach the people who need them most. After hearing Elizabeth's complete journey, I want to know, who is Elizabeth in your life? Who do you know that has incredible potential but just needs someone to believe in them? And more importantly, what are you going to do about it? Share your stories in the comments. Your words might just inspire the next great transformation.